Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 5:17. We don't have a quorum yet, but we will as soon as Andrea gets on. So my question before was, you received my spreadsheet, correct?
I did not see it. The last email I had was March 27th that had an attachment on it. I haven't seen anything since then with an attachment.
Okay, it would have said budget approval number 2.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I put a budget together stating whether we put it on hold or pass and which ones are still
Oh.
open.
Yep, I did see that. Yep, sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
So, oh, I wonder if he, Hartley?
Oh, you mean to share?
Yeah,
Let's see if he set me up already.
I'm here if you need me. What?
yeah, did you put Dawn on to share?
Yes, yes, I did. He's right here on the list.
Okay.
Great, thank
No,
you.
no. To be co-host so I can share.
Okay, they'll be co-host. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, you are now co-host.
Thank you.
There we go.
So, okay, looks like Andrea's here.
Oh, good. So then I'll go back and have roll call.
Geraldine Bezek is present.
Andrea Wood present.
Don Hayes present.
Lynn Pinkerton here. Okay, do we have any additions or deletions? No. And I didn't go in, so I don't have any mail unless somebody else does. And I don't, Andrea, you didn't send us last week's.
No,
minutes.
I didn't finish last week's minutes, but we had a set of minutes presented last week that we didn't vote on.
All right.
Because we didn't have a quorum. It just got lost in the shuffle by the time we called the meeting to order.
Okay. So who would like to make a motion?
What's the date of the meeting minutes?
Is that the February 24th and March 4th? Oh, no.
No, those were two. We did those two. It was from the next meeting.
I think I've got March 11th.
That may well be the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from March 11th.
Second.
Okay. Andrea wasn't here, but Jerry, do you want to say that again?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from meeting of March 2nd, please, except March 11th.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I second it. Yeah. Hello?
Yep.
Yep.
Go ahead. So then I'm gonna flip right on to 2.2 because Karen Moore is on to discuss the Council on Aging budget. So thank you for waiting, Karen.
Madam
And-
Chair,
Yes,
this is Jim speaking. I was wondering if I could just interject something first related to her budget, so I
Yep.
don't make her say it because she'll feel awkward.
Okay,
okay,
If you look at the salary for the director on your screen, it's the very first salary. That is an incorrect number. The at the meeting we had jointly the other night, we talked about this issue, but I don't know that everybody was on that meeting, so I just want to provide the information now. The Collins Center, having done the compensation and classification study, looked at all the positions in town with the exception of the town administrator position by direction of the Board of Selectmen, and evaluated the job descriptions based on a number of factors, set factors like years of education and experience, access to confidential information, supervision, judgment and initiative, set personnel functions. And depending on the level of responsibility in any given position, they would rate higher the more responsibility they had. In the case of the director to the Council on Aging, Karen noticed, and I credit her for doing so, that it seemed that she was graded lower than and subsequently placed in a lower grade than the department heads that she is that she is similar to here in town. So she
Right.
brought that to my attention and set to have her come in and have a discussion about it. I pulled up the Collins Center grid, and it's a spreadsheet of, I think I put it up on the screen once for you guys. It's a pretty involved spreadsheet, but one of the factors for the director's position was given a rating of 3, but the next column where the point value should have been included showed 0. There was a little color tab in the corner of the cell. You hover over it and it says there was an inconsistent formula. I fixed the formula, it added the appropriate number of points, and lo and behold, that new total of her evaluation, I should say the position's evaluation, placed the position a grade higher and in the appropriate classification with like department heads in town. I reached out to the consultant, sent back the original spreadsheet and said that there was an error. Could you please review and confirm? And I do have back in writing from the consultant that indeed there was an error with his apology. And he confirmed the rating that I came up with, which shows the position in the next higher grade. What that means is in implementing Collins, you take the person who is the incumbent and you place them in the closest to but higher than rate of pay available in the grade that they're classified in. In this case, for Karen, that became, and I'm looking for the document now, please bear with me. Right here. In the case of Karen, that took her prior, my goodness, Jim. Here it is. That took her prior hourly rate of $23.34 and moved her into the appropriate grade. The closest to but higher than step available is the very first step in the new grade, which is a dollar figure of $30.98 per hour for a total annual of $64,438.40. And you're going to do the math quick in your head and say, holy smokes, that's a significant increase. And
Mhm.
I'd like to beg your indulgence for a moment to maybe change the paradigm here. Instead of thinking that this is an increase that Karen Canfield Moore is getting, instead look at Karen and thank her for the fact that for a number of years, we have abused her and paid her far less than the market says we should have been. And recognize that this is the fair and appropriate place that she be compensated going forward. So a lot of words for one little cell on the spreadsheet, but I wanted to address that before she went further with discussing her budget. If you have any
So-
questions, I'd be happy to handle them.
I do have a question. So what does that make her making an hour now?
That is the closest to but higher than step, which is, you're gonna make me go back and find it again,
I thought it was 30.
$30.98.
She's making now, or will be
No,
making.
she will be making that if this budget passes and if the union that she is a member of ratifies a contract, but that is the budgeted amount for fiscal 22.
Okay. And then it looks like we also added in longevity.
Well, I can let Karen address that if she's on the call.
I am.
Before
I'm
you
right
go,
here.
yeah, before you go to the longevity point though, Madam Chair, you do have that blue cell there that I think
Yeah.
we've talked about in prior meetings where the Council on Aging made the pitch to the select board regarding the
Right.
need to reconfigure and better staff the center, given not only the demographic in town, the rapidly aging demographic in town, but also having found some of the holes in our provision of service level, given what we've gone through in the last year. So the select board has supported this requested increase in staffing at that second blue line item.
Right. I just jumped to the longevity because I know it goes with the director. So that's, and then I wait for Karen to say,
Okay.
repeat.
So first of all, Jim, thank you very much for taking that and explaining it because I didn't know where I was going to go with that. And
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate the fact that you pointed out that it brings me to equitable pay with my peers. And that makes a huge difference to me.
Absolutely.
As far as the longevity goes, I believe it was at the town meeting 2 years ago that I noticed most on the budget for most other department heads, there was a line item for longevity, and I had always just rolled that into my wages. So it's not really an increase. The longevity's been there. It's just pulled into a different line item at this point.
Yeah,
So-
but that really should be separated though.
It should
Yes.
be, and that's why I put it separate this time.
Okay,
Okay. So
Alright
it
then.
was there, but it was lumped in before, and now it's in a separate line item.
all right.
All right. So it is something I was getting, but now it's in the right place. All right.
Great. Yep.
So let me
Now-
try, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, now let's talk about the reorganization. now.
I'm calling it the senior center shuffle. So one of the things through COVID that we came to understand even more than we had before. This is the third year that we're asking for somebody to fill a social services position at the senior center. And we've made do. We have a wonderful, quote, outreach coordinator at this time. However, she is more of a community liaison. She mostly just makes phone calls. We need somebody who is more skilled in social services, who can communicate with people and get people into touch with the right organizations statewide who can help them with their problems. It's especially in the time of COVID, it has really hit us that we need to have more a specialty in that seat. And that is why I am proposing that we shuffle some things around. Let me start with the biggie, which would be a promotion for Katie Petrossi, who is currently our program coordinator. She, when she came in 2017, she not only reorganized all the programs in the senior center, they have increased exponentially since she came on, but she also took on the grant writing and has successfully, let me look at my cheat sheet here. She's successfully brought in over $15,000 worth of grants, and the majority of those have, well, the biggest grant gave us all training to do evidence-based programs that will benefit the seniors in our community for many years to come. Some of those programs are the chronic disease self-management program that was created by the Stanford University in California. And if you are in the social work world, you know that that is something not only senior centers use, but hospitals, universities, and all that stuff. Another thing is the matter of balance, and a big one in COVID was that she obtained a grant for technology. And we have 8 Chromebooks that we loan out. We do all the training for people to use those Chromebooks. We have, as Hartley knows, we have worked with him for cable channel programs, and we have our own YouTube channel as well, and a lot of Zoom programs, the most successful of which has been our watercolor program. If our watercolor teacher wanted to, she could probably teach that class 5 days a week. So she has totally gone above and beyond a program coordinator position. She also automatically fills in for me when I'm not here and acts as the acting director. Another thing that she has done that is not within her job description is she manages all the statistics from my senior center, our software program. She manages our website and supervises the assistant program coordinator, who does most of our social media and publicity outside of the senior center. Let's see what else. She's also had training in the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren program, Matter of Balance, and the UCLA Memory Training Program. So, you know, the difference in the budget for giving her accolades and taking her to the position where she would be somewhat recognized for what she's doing as an assistant director is under $6,000. And I believe she is well more worth that. And as somebody who holds a PhD in gerontology, I think if we don't show her some appreciation, she will go somewhere where they will. And I don't want to lose her. And the big reason I don't want to lose her is not only how wonderful she is, but within the next 5 years, all of the staff at the senior center, besides her, will retire. 5 years isn't a very long time. Besides Katie, I am the youngest one here, and I just turned 60. We have a 73-year-old working here. All right, so that is something really to take into consideration, especially considering that right now 28% of the population in Townsend is over 60. By 2030, which isn't that far away, it's going to be 40%. It will be equal to the people between 20 and 59. And the percentage of the people who need services, which is the most services, which is those that are over 80, will go from 3.5% to 10%. We need to, this is the perfect time to start to reorganize make and develop and implement a 5-year plan that will keep us going into the next 10 and 15 years. And a key component to that is Ms. Petrossi. I can't stress that hard enough. She will also, if this is approved, she will also be trained by the state as a SHINE representative. So that is the person who does all of the counseling for people who are getting ready to retire and can't figure out, which nobody can, I know I couldn't, how to navigate the maze of Medicare and other insurance needs. And that is a intensive program, and she would be an on-site person to do that. Our current SHINE counselor is 82 years old. So without a SHINE counselor in-house, people will have to go do SHINE counseling on the computer, which is not necessarily a good thing for our population, or on the phone. And having that one-on-one connection is very, very important. So any questions on the reason why I want to promote Ms. Petrossi?
Not from me.
I don't have a question on why you want to promote her. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
However, you said this is a great time. Theoretically, it's a great time. Monetarily, it's not a great time. And the other thing is she does all these things, but they're not in her job description. Someday, though, she's wonderful, yada, yada, I don't want her to leave either.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be in the job description because the next person will inherit her salary and won't have to do her jobs.
And that is why I have rewritten the job description as an assistant director / program coordinator.
And the people who did the matrix approved of it, the new job description, I mean.
And that I have
Madam-
to defer to Jim.
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you to Andrea. This occurred after the Collins Center had delivered their plan last May. So what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks or a month or so are reviewing certain job descriptions that elected boards or commissions or appointed boards or commissions believe didn't accurately depict the duties and responsibilities of the actual job. And when Karen, with the approval of her Council on Aging Board, came forward with this proposal, drafted the job description, and it's actually, it should have been reviewed and classified by now, but over the last couple of weeks, with budget taking as much time of all of ours as it has, it hasn't simply been done yet, but it will be done prior to town meeting.
Well, perfect. Thank you.
Jim. All right. So the next shuffle would be concerning our kitchen manager. Donna Fenton has been doing 2 jobs since 2014, 2015. She's been the kitchen manager and the volunteer coordinator, working only 26 hours a week. Since 2014, our meals program usage has gone up 571%. And she is the kitchen manager. So what I would like to do, what I propose, is that she use all of her 26 hours a week as the kitchen manager and have the duties of the volunteer coordinator go to the person who is currently our outreach coordinator, and open the outreach coordinator position to the person I would like to hire with social services. Okay, so that just means juggling some money around. The volunteer coordinator position has always been paid by our formula grant, which is an annual grant we get from the state that is based on the 2010 census of people 60 and over. Currently, that is still $16,944 a year, but within the next year or so, they will base it on the 2020 census, which will almost double it. So if we continue to have the volunteer coordinator salary come out of the formula grant, that's just shy of $11,000. And the town will take on that $11,000 that will go to Donna, to the kitchen manager. So you're kind of taking and giving there. It's kind of this for that, all right? And the only other addition would be the outreach coordinator, which I'm proposing would be a position at 15 hours a week. I figured it at about $16 an hour. We'll have to work out the details of that because we do actually want to be able to hire somebody. I know of at least 5 other senior centers who are looking for an outreach coordinator right now, a social worker. And we are hoping to be able to find somebody who would want to work here 15 hours and somewhere else for 15 hours. Gardner has mentioned that they might be interested in something like that. So anyways, if you do all the numbers, it adds up to just shy of $20,000 that we would be asking for to reorganize the senior center. And I know, Andrea, I know this isn't the perfect time, and I don't know what the CARES Act and all, what options there are out there, but we're moving into the new normal, and we are getting an addition, and this is the time to set this wheel in motion. And I would really, really appreciate your support on this.
I have a question. Just because I'm just a nasty old bitch, and I understand that. You should understand that too. When you said that for the kitchen manager, the percentage of lunches increased 500%, 500 and something percent.
Yes.
That's fine. Percentages can be deceiving. How many actual more people do you have?
I can tell you. So we went from, just our congregate meals went from, let me look here, went from 312 when I started here in 2014 to 3,511.
Does that include Meals on Wheels and things like that? I don't know what you mean by congregate meals.
I would have to do some addition here to put them together. Hold on just a second.
Oh no, that's okay. I don't really need that. What do you mean by congregate meals?
Pardon? What do I mean by congregate meals? Those are the in-house. Yes. Those are the in-house meals. That does not.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Because we went from when I came here, they served meals Mondays and Wednesdays, and before we closed for COVID, we were serving meals 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And even since we opened on Thursday, we have had 61 people in here, and we have served 101 meals in 2 Thursdays. We're only serving on Thursdays, and it's not in-house, it's a drive-through.
Okay. Is it as fast as McDonald's?
Better.
Oh, better. I could agree. I just was wondering about speed.
We did mac and cheese today.
Oh, very good.
It goes pretty fast.
It does go pretty fast. People start lining up at 11:30 and we don't serve till 12. It's kind of cute.
How do you this is just curiosity. How do you get the stuff to them? With
We
regards
prepare
to
it in the
tape?
kitchen and roll it out in bags on the tables. And they drive through so that their passenger window is open. And we check
Uh-huh.
off their name and put the meal in their passenger side so that we're not too close.
Oh, very, very nice.
Good. Now, Karen, so that means you have to redo the descriptions for all those jobs, correct?
The only one I need to redo is because the kitchen manager already has a job description. The volunteer
Right.
coordinator already has a job description. The outreach coordinator already has a job description. So the only job description I have to redo is the assistant director slash program coordinator. And Jim already has that.
But I thought you said you were gonna take the volunteer one and put it in with the outreach?
No, we're taking the person who is currently doing outreach and having her, instead of doing outreach work, she's going to shift to doing the volunteer coordinator work. I
Oh,
am
okay.
still working with Jim on how to appropriately manipulate that or whatever. That's not a good word. Do that.
Um,
And she's and we've talked about it. She's not comfortable with the amount of computer work that is involved in an outreach position as it is written in the job description. And
It sounds like it's a lot of work. Sounds like Katie is working out quite well. So you basically are doing administrative work now.
I am doing a lot of administrative work. I am hoping that with this change that I'll be able to do more things with other organizations and have more interaction with Atwood Acres, Townsend Woods, TEO, other boards in town. Finally have a triad with the police and fire. We haven't successfully been able to do that and work on things. Our bylaws haven't been redone since I've been here. The most recent policy book we have is from 2008. Do stop putting out fires and actually do more of my job and work with the Massachusetts Council on Aging a lot more. There's so much we can do.
Okay.
Jim? Jim,
Yes. Yep.
the selectmen completely accepted this budget, correct?
There are a couple of things that they still have a pin in, but this budget for Council on Aging, yes, they did.
When you figured or balanced the budget, you balanced it with those figures in mind.
It is balanced with the new director's figure in mind and the ability to do what is necessary for the Ms. Petrosi's position once it's rated. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we would have a different line then, because we would put assistant director in there, correct? And then you just have all your other operating staff. Can you hear me?
Are you asking Jim?
Ugh. Mike, this one keeps going in and out, and I don't know if you're hearing me or not.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I don't know where Jim is. Where are you, Jim?
Is he the one working on stuff or is that somebody else?
Yeah, I keep shutting off because I'm working on stuff on my screen and I don't want to be a bother. What was the question?
So that was me. I put in.
Oh,
the-
Don, you're the one doing it.
Yeah. He's just putting that in, and then we'll have to have, yeah,
And then-
the operating staff. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
I think
Jim?
that's what you were talking about is take this line and then break it into two.
Yeah,
Do you do that for other departments, Jim? I just don't know.
I don't. It's generally the department head and then operating staff.
Okay.
So
So does that put us in the red again, or what, where are we now?
I am still in the red as of last Tuesday night. It was about $12,262 that I was charged with closing the gap. So I've been working on that. Selectwoman Kell reached out today and recommended the webmaster position of $6,000 be deleted going forward. So that brought me down closer to 7,000 out, and I'm still at work on it. I've got between now and tomorrow close of business to try to make this balance out.
Okay.
all right.
All right.
So back to Council on Aging.
Yeah, I apologize. I hit my roller.
Okay. Can you make it a little bigger, Dawn, please?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
And, okay, maybe it's the notes and all that in. Okay. Okay, so we're able to get the whole budget in there. Try to park that somewhere.
Did we get new equipment or something for such a jump in the maintenance equipment?
That is the maintenance contract for our copier that we got a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when does that end? Do you know?
It's ongoing. It's maintenance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do believe at the end of this fiscal year, we will have some money in our expenses left over that can go back into the general fund. First of all, we've gotten a lot of donations this year and some grant money that we've been using, and we haven't been open to use supplies that much. So there will probably be something that rolls back over. Not that it's a ton, but it's something.
Yeah. Hey, every little bit helps. What are the other supplies down there?
Other supplies, generally, they are things that are used for programs that aren't necessarily office supplies. They might be gift bags. One thing that we've been buying since bingo hasn't been around and the friends haven't been meeting is bingo usually takes in and gives out the same amount of cash, but we don't want people touching cash. So we've been using, at first we used our petty cash for scratch tickets and gift cards. And then we don't have any petty cash anymore because we get that from coffee and nobody's drinking coffee. So I've been using other supplies for supplementing the bingo prizes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's not a ton. I'm sure
Yeah.
there will be some left on that.
All right. Anybody have any more questions for Karen? Did I get stuck again?
Nope,
No.
we can hear you.
I'm just looking at the office supplies, and with these numbers having been about 2/3 of the year, is the office supplies going back to normal usage next year, or is that something that is
So
going to?
that is something we actually used more of this year because we did a lot of mailings and things like that. So I think that will go back down. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah, because it looks like you're already over.
Yeah, we're over on that. But like professional services, we're good there. And other such things. So
Yep. Okay, any other questions? All right, we need to have a motion.
I move to accept the Council on Aging budget. Council on Aging / Senior Center budget.
Okay, a second.
I will second.
Right, all in favor?
Andrea, aye.
Don, aye.
Cheryl and I.
Then Pinkerton, aye. All right. Well, I thank you very much, Karen.
I thank you very much. And you will see great things coming from here.
Okay.
Take care. Have a great weekend.
Yes, you too. Okay, if we can go back up.
Yeah.
2.1. Discuss and review selectmen's meeting. I know last night, Tuesday night, for the people that were there, the facilities budget.
Mhm.
Can you find that one?
I watched the selectmen's meeting last night, so I'm familiar with what went on.
Oh, okay, good. So do we have any discussions on that one?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just to close the loop on some of the conversation at the meeting the other night with the selectmen. The facilities budget had traditionally been a budget where line items were, where functions were grouped into line items. So utilities line cover the utilities for a variety of buildings that facilities is responsible for. Last year, a request was made to break it out, 2 years ago, excuse me, a request was made to break it out by building. So you had fuel and electricity and communications and the like for, you're seeing it on the screen there, for each building by address, 12 Dudley, 272 Main, and so on.
Right.
From an operational perspective in the accounting office, that was a nightmare for them because we get our bills from, say, Verizon or Unitil as one big fat bill.
Right.
And they were then having to spend the time of breaking it out and attributing each individual portion to each of the big bill to each specific line item by building. So we jettisoned that and went back to the traditional way that it had been done, with it all being grouped. This has caused some concern or
that was pretty
confusion. And the thing that I offered on Tuesday night is to look at the bottom line of the facilities budget over the past several years. And you'll note that the bottom line has been relatively consistent, particularly the expense side. So you'll see 213, 195, 194. So relatively consistent. And last year, I don't have my notes in front of me right now. I apologize. I'm going by memory, but last year we closed out with, I believe, $18,000 to the good. And this year, the majority, it looks like we're going to close out at around 35,000, but the majority of that is in salaries that have been funded, but positions have intentionally not been filled by vote of the Board of Selectmen. So lest there be the belief that there is room to cut in facilities, I just wanted to say that that is inadvisable. You know, the numbers don't lie at the bottom. You know, we can debate how they're shown up above and whether they've been the expenses have been applied to the right line item or the wrong line item. And, you know, that's again, an internal accounting issue, but the bottom line of the expenditure shows that even in a COVID year when we were holding the reins tightly, we're going to come in relatively close to on balance with a minimum surplus. So I would strongly recommend not going down the line of making cuts in the facilities budget. There are things that have been programmed to do that we've not had the opportunity to do based on the spending freeze that's in place. And any illusion that might be created by having $18,500 left at the end of the year needs to be hedged against by the fact that that money should have been spent in a normal non-COVID environment. It would have been spent and projects would have been done. The projects still exist. If anything, some of them have been made worse by not being done. So I strongly encourage the approval of this budget and your consideration without alteration or reduction, because it is tight and it is right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I agree.
Right. I was there too Tuesday and I heard all of this and I agree with you, Jim.
Me too.
Andrea? Or Dawn?
Yes, I agree too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was another thing. I'm not totally sure, but with Veronica, a lot of things because of COVID had to be put on hold. Still needs to be done. We still need to have the money and we can't always cut it.
Right.
Right.
And,
So-
and I understand some of Selectwoman Kell's concern because she's looking at the year-to-date expenditure report for fiscal 21 and looking at line items that have, and I'm making this up, I don't have it in front of me, that have, you know, a budget of $5,000, but 9,000 has been expended. And that looks like there's something funky and maybe we need to fix it because there are other lines that have, you know, 5,000 budgeted and only 100 expended. So prior to Lori, our town accountant, leaving, she was going to make those adjustments in the budget and accurately attribute the expenditures to the appropriate line. She didn't get a chance to do that before she left. So I've been tasked with getting that taken care of between now and Tuesday night's select board meeting. So that should be cleaned up by then to make it all the more clear that the budget is as it should be.
Jim,
Yes.
if we accept this as it is, that
Yep.
still leaves him without any help, correct?
No, he will have, what you have in the budget now is you'd have Bo, you would have Eno, who is the gentleman that is the glue that keeps us all in line around here. You would have the part-time cleaner position. The one that you wouldn't have is the facility maintenance tech. So that had been budgeted. Yeah, that had been
That's his
budgeted.
direct help. Yeah.
That would have been somebody that I think the last incumbent was Brian a couple of years ago, and that was not funded again this year.
He still has Rob though, right?
Rob is Rob.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Rob is the top guy, the facilities maintenance coordinator. Then he has Eno, and then he has Paul Kraft, who is the custodian. That if you're ever
Okay.
up at 4 a.m. and you drive by and the lights aren't on the town hall, it's because Paul's here.
Yeah.
I don't know when he sleeps, but he gets all the buildings done before any of us even wake up, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this budget looks pretty good.
Yep. So if we're all in agreement,
I'll make a motion to pass the maintenance budget.
I'll second.
okay, can you hear me now?
You're back.
So if there's no more discussions, then I'm looking for a motion for facilities.
I'll make a motion for facilities to pass the budget.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Geraldine, yes?
Andrea, yes.
Don, I.
Lynn, yes. Okay, so we passed that. Okay, now back, can you put up my spreadsheet? Dawn, please. There we go. Okay, this is the last, the last spreadsheet we had. I haven't made any
Mhm.
adjustments. So Council on Aging would be a pass and the facilities would be a pass. What we have on hold is the Board of Selectmen, Conservation Committee or Commission, Land Use Administration, the Electrical Inspector, Recreation, Landfill Engineering, Board of Health, House Authority, Cemetery and Parks, and Landfill. That's what we can hold. So I'd like to start and go through them and see if we can't do something with them. And then we have accounting, tax collector, town council. Well, snow and ice, we don't get that until that night.
Well, let's go back down and just start in one of the departments.
Yep. So let's start with the ones on hold.
Okay.
See if you can't change them. So the first one was the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
All right. So now, Andrea,
I think the big, yes, I'm sorry.
did you have the notes on why we put this one on hold?
I thought that it was because of the new position that they added, the webmaster.
Right.
But according to what Jim said, the selectmen are going to drop that position, so that I don't think we have a quorum anymore.
So, yeah, who's going to do that?
What'd you
Who's
say, Jerry?
Who is going to do the web page?
When
Okay.
when Selectman Kell and I spoke today about it, she said basically refreshing the current practice that each department is responsible to keep their own page up to date. And ultimately, I would be responsible as the day-to-day administrator. And I countered with the thought of perhaps reaching out to Fitchburg State or another school that has a web design program or a multimedia program, and see if there's somebody that would be interested in an unpaid, of course, unpaid internship, where we would have an email address set up, a Dropbox set up, where if you have a change you need, you'd email that person. And then as they can, 12 in the afternoon at lunch or 10 at
Right.
night, before they go to bed, they log on, spend a couple of minutes and make the updates. So one way or another, we'll get it taken care of.
Yeah, okay. Sounds great.
Well, hopefully we'll have a better year next year and we can put it back in again.
I hope so, because I would like to see a student doing that as an internship. But as far as the department bringing their own, I don't see it happening. I don't see it as a good thing.
Mm. Well, like
What about
I
what
said,
about the committees and commissions that meet at night? Are they going to be able to be trained so that they can do their own websites?
I don't,
The part of that discussion was committees and commissions that have staff that support them already. It would be that staff that would have the responsibility. Those that don't have staff support, like, I don't know, pick one out of finance committee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then the finance committee would either have to have somebody on it become conversant in doing it and keeping it up to date, or we'd have to find somebody that can pick up that extra slack that's already maintaining someone else's. That's the tricky part of having boards and commissions like that don't have staff.
and she thought the $6,000 was too much money?
No, she supported it. She wanted to do it, but she heard, the way she explained it to me is she heard some folks may have been offended by her suggestion that it would be better done this way than relying on town hall staff or department personnel. That they may have been offended and took her words as criticism, which is not how she intended it. So
Right.
she had heard from at least one other member of the board that did not support this. So her pulling her support makes a majority. It's not done until it's voted next Tuesday, but she asked me to remove it. So that's what I did.
All right.
yeah. Now, another suggestion, it's just a thought. We have this beautiful high school up there.
Oh,
We could always get who's ever signed up for that type of technology to come and intern for us.
Yeah, the interesting thing, Lynn, is they wouldn't even need to come because all of this is virtual and remote. They could
Mhm.
log in and make the
Right.
changes from Timbuktu if they needed to.
Right. I realized that after, but it's just a thought.
Yep.
And it would be, counted toward their grade or something. Or
Yep.
just because I know you go to school, you go to college, whatever, you go to try to find a job, and they say, well, do you have any experience? Well, how can
Right.
I have any? I just graduated.
I know that they have a community service program, and maybe we could enter that as a community service, and they could count it towards their community service.
That's a great idea, Geraldine.
So we probably, maybe if we contact the superintendent of the schools, maybe she could lead us into further information on that. But I really think that it's 6 months at a time. I believe that they have to do a 6-month community. All seniors have to do it.
Yep.
So maybe we could do it that way.
It's just a thought.
Exactly.
We might as well use our resources.
That's right.
Sure, why not? Well, don't forget, you get your Neshoba Tech too. So, and they've got, they have the same type they have a program like that too. So maybe we should reach out to those people.
Yeah, both schools. and
Right,
See if anybody's interested.
right. Because it would be nice if there was a little monetary, something, but that's all right too. If it counts towards something on their resume or something, it would be a good thing.
Well, that's what I was thinking. At least they can put something down to say that they work for the town.
Right, exactly. Or volunteered for the town. That would be good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So if we don't have any more questions or concerns on the BOS, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass the BOS. Financial. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Second,
I'll second the motion.
okay, all in favor?
Aye, Carolyn.
Andrea, aye.
John, I.
Lynn, aye. Okay, so we've got that one passed. Next is Conservation Commission.
Is that land use or is that different?
Land use is different.
Okay.
This is conservation. I went according to the budget sheet. There we go. Conservation Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I believe this one was on hold because we were talking about dropping the hours for this employee from 19 to 15 and then using it to the difference in hours to fund a different position or move to a different position.
It's actually changed again since that discussion.
Oh, boy.
So what you would have heard at the last selectmen's meeting is the conservation agent, the first position,
Yeah.
is correct. So it's a grade E, step 3 at 15 hours.
Mhm.
The next position is Collins Center grade C, step 1, and they have that now at 20 hours. That's how it was advertised. That was the understanding
Right.
upon which the person that accepted the job accepted it. So that is 20 hours, and that becomes a number of $20,925. 20925.
Does that
But
person,
yeah, I was gonna say, because it's 20 hours, then they
Yes,
also
indeed.
insurance and stuff.
Yes, indeed. The budget that I emailed out, the last version I emailed out to you folks showed that we were going in the wrong direction on the summary page, and the note read that we did the survey of the actual employees on health insurance as of this moment, multiplied by the rate by each plan for next year, and came up with the total expense for those on board today. And since then, we have had this position and the newly appointed police lieutenant position, the incumbents for which both are going to be taking a family health insurance plan.
Hmm.
and what does that cost about, the family health?
The town's share, are you sitting down, Geraldine?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The town's share for a family HMO is $30,000
Wow.
per plan. So that's a $60,000 swing in the health insurance line. And the other part that becomes I think worth your attention is the decision was made by the select board this past Tuesday night on the matter of health insurance and the health insurance holiday to budget the 11-month number
This year.
this year, with the expectation that we will be negotiating plan design changes between now and next year,
Yeah,
such that while the number is 892,000 this year, and we're reducing that by some 70-something thousand dollars,
Yeah.
the fear of it being 892 next year should not exist if we are successful in renegotiating the plan design and adding either additional co-pays or some slight deductibles, which currently don't exist.
you know, I'm gonna say something about insurance. I've worked for different companies at different times, and I've always had co-pays. I can't believe that they aren't, I mean, it's
Well-
very, I'd love
well-
to have the position, but I've
Yeah, well,
always
ju-
had co-pays.
Yeah, to be clear, Geraldine, our plans have co-pays, so you pay, your $20 to go to the primary and 35 to go, or 50 to go to a specialist, and 100 to go to the ER. What our plan doesn't have, which is a very, very rich benefit, is we don't have deductibles. So we have $1 coverage, it's called. So the majority of plans today in the world, you have to meet your deductible before insurance starts kicking in. And that could be, $500 per individual and, $1,500 per family, or some ratio of dollars between individual and family. And we don't have that. And that's likely the thing that's going to give between now and next year. Deductibles are a necessity to add in order to control the cost.
Right. Okay.
All right. Now, the question I have is this person's job, the conservation support,
Yep. She's getting paid less than the cost of her insurance. It costs us more to insure her than to pay her.
right? But isn't that support also going to be for, what is it, the land use? Or,
Oh, right, within land use, you have planning, zoning, and conservation. And they all, to a degree, cross-train and are able to step in and assist one another. They're budgeted in their own respective places. So here you see conservation support in conservation. You will see planning admin support in planning, and ZBA is a standalone, very minuscule budget, but it also has that support number. So there are distinct budgets and distinct departments, but they cross-train and they all coexist under the umbrella of land use.
okay, so they all have their own support. If I heard you correctly.
Conservation, if this budget passes, would have their own support. And right now, planning and zoning have their own support, and the budget projects that to continue.
Okay.
Does Beth work full-time or is she a part-time position?
She is, well, it depends on your definition of full-time. She's considered full-time, but she's not 40. So she's, I'd have to do some quick math because I'm drawing a blank, but she's less than 40, but more than the part-time 20. I don't have it in front of me, Geraldine, I apologize.
Hey, that's all right.
I hate not being able to answer a question.
That's all right. No, not a problem. I mean, if I had the question to give you ahead of time, I would have.
That's no fun.
I know.
All
I
right.
have a way I can find out though.
How many hours is support? what are they considering a support? How many hours is that?
For this person
Yes,
is
That one's
20.
20.
20.
And all the others I've seen are either 15 or 19.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can we back that up to, so we don't have to pay insurances, or how do we do that?
If we hadn't hired somebody already with them
Oh.
having the expectation based on the posting saying 20 hours, we could,
Right.
but we hired somebody, and in fairness, that's what we had posted it at 20, which meant benefits, so
Right,
here we are.
all right. But we haven't hired anybody for land use yet, though.
Correct, we have not.
So do we have to put that at a 20 hours?
I think there's some discussion about whether 20 is even enough,
Really?
so, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that-
Huh.
Go ahead.
I believe at meeting before the last one, Veronica raised it from 15 to 30 and then finally to 35 hours.
Wow.
I think you're right. I can flip to that page in a second, but I'm just checking one other thing quickly here.
I didn't realize there was that much going on in town, that we needed 35 hours.
I didn't either. One of the things that bothers me about this position is that we have hired people into it who have left quickly. And so we tie up a sizable amount of money and still don't have the service. I hope we can fill it and keep the person, and then it would be worthwhile. But to tie up money that can't be used in a position you cannot fill does not make good sense.
Well, here's to hoping we can fill it, because it is a valuable position. I know people have feelings on the position all over the spectrum and back, but in my short experience being here for 5 years or whatever it's been, the years that we have had it filled have been far more just been more effective in getting tasks taken care of and goals met than when we haven't had it filled.
Well, that depends on the boards. If the boards that use the land use coordinator do what that person says and follow the advice and the laws that she recommends, to pursue, then you have good stuff. If they decide, no, we'll do it this way, then it's a waste of time.
Yeah, that could be said about most of us though, right, Andrea?
Well, not you, Jim.
Geraldine, Beth works 30 hours a week.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious.
So it's down from 35.
No, that's Beth's position.
Beth.
That's the question
Oh.
I couldn't answer a moment ago.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I got confused for a sec.
So land use is currently plugged in at 35 hours, grade F, step 3, 35 hours.
Well, I suppose if we have to hire someone, we have to have the money in there.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, when we've had so much trouble filling and keeping this position. I felt it could be passed over, and Veronica said that there's a great deal of paperwork that has to be caught up, and that it was a position that was needed very badly. Now, I don't know what is meant by a quantity of paperwork, and but I believe what you said, and but it doesn't seem like we're doing that much at the moment. I know COVID is going to be over soon, that it really warrants this kind of thing. But I could well be wrong since I know very little about activities of zoning and planning.
Yeah, I think the paperwork that Selectman Kell was talking about the other night are the plan documents. So open space and recreation plan, the ADA transition plan, things like that, Andrea, that need to be updated, are required to be updated for certain grant opportunities. And that's generally under the purview of, under the land use coordinator position. So I think that's what she was talking about.
Oh, yeah, that paperwork has been out of date. I agree with you that way, probably for 20 years, some of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, then I guess there is a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. Well, one of the things this town is, as far as my view is concerned, is notoriously bad about. They get very good ideas, they get very good equipment, and then somehow when it comes to maintenance of plans, equipment, whatever, we just fall down the rabbit hole.
Well, what, I suppose we should, I guess we could beat this to death all night, but I suppose we should do something to move it along, I guess.
All right, let's go back to the Conservation Commission. If we don't have any more questions on that, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion for the Conservation Commission. Bad
I'll
budget.
second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye, Geraldine.
Andrea, aye.
Don, I.
Lynn, aye. Okay, that passes that one.
Madam Chair, I was just gonna laugh and cry at the same time when you said you were looking for emotion.
Yeah,
An emotion, yeah. Okay. We could do that too, all right.
yeah.
Oh. Where are we now?
Sorry, I was just trying to do the.
Okay. So have we done the are we finished with land use?
Well,
Well, it had hold, so let's, I guess, we'll go back and take a look. Maybe.
okay.
If I type in the right place.
I think we've asked quite a few questions about it. I think we've probably answered everything that we need to know.
Yeah, I just want to do the thingy there.
Well, this was it the administrator that was 30 hours, or is it the yeah, grant?
No, this one was changed to the 35 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And is the grant writer position still?
I don't think
No,
so.
it's been deleted.
Okay.
That one was?
Yes. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. It's one I don't like. I was thinking about the webmaster and I said that. I apologize. No, it hasn't been.
Yeah, it's still in there.
Yeah.
All right. So that tells me we haven't hired anybody for the land use grant admin, correct?
No.
Is that correct?
That is correct, because we don't have it budgeted. This
Yeah.
is next year. This would be July 1st. So if this passes, then we could advertise and seek to fill it.
Okay.
And at 35 hours, Jim, does this increase for the administrator?
The land use is, yes, it is grade F, step 3, 35 hours for a total of 58659. And the grant administrator is grade F, step 3 at 15 hours for 25139.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. They get travel? It's not that much, but. Where do they have
Well,
to
that's
travel?
that conferences. They go to conferences, and that's to cover their mileage and cost, which I believe was down to 52 cents a mile or something like that.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Mhm.
So anybody has any more questions on this?
On what?
On land use administrator?
Okay. That's what I thought, but we had kicked around some other ideas, so I wanted to be sure.
Yeah, this is the way it's gonna stand, I believe.
Okay.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion.
Quiet. I'll make a motion to accept the land use administrator budget as proposed.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Andrea? No.
Don, aye. No.
You hear me?
No, missed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, all in favor?
Andrea? No.
Okay. Dawn,
Don, aye.
Jerry,
Well, I voted to second it, so can I go no and second it?
Yes.
All right, no.
all right.
How late do we have this,
Till 8 o'clock.
oh, wow. I have to be somewhere for 7. I thought it was 5 to 6:45.
Oh, no, not this one. Okay, so we have 2 no's and I want to split mine.
No, you can't. You have to vote one way or the other. It will either be tied or will pass as a no.
Mm.
And we'll have to readdress it at some later date.
Well, I want to say no because of the grant.
Okay.
Ed.
Yeah, and yep, mine is if we spend that money, the expectation is the person's going to be getting in more money to support other products. Okay.
Yeah,
Other projects. So,
True.
yep. No. I'm. We can have a discussion and revisit. I understand it's 25,000 if we don't spend it. That it helps with the bottom line of the budget because, yeah, we're just there. So yeah, we can.
Well,
Well,
my thinking is, yes, we need an administrator.
Mhm.
However, we haven't been able for over a year trying to get a grant writer.
Yeah.
So until they can find a group or something where you can get them, I didn't want to accept that one.
Well, one of the other things is that over time I've noticed that the selectmen, and it's their duty, and I understand that, make big monetary decisions of which we're never apprised any point of until they accept it or deny it. The same with grants. A lot of grants, when you examine them, it looks wonderful on upfront money, but ends up costing you more than the grant gives you. And I can't support a grant writer until parameters for reviewing the proposed grants is in place.
Understood. Yeah.
So mine's going to be a no.
Okay, now I have a question. Is this on land use or on the grant writer?
On the grant writer.
Okay.
Oh,
Did,
for the land use administrator, I'm saying no because of that. And
Mm-hmm.
you guys say no too. So,
So.
but that's why we're saying no, is because of that.
Mhm.
okay.
Correct?
I am, yes.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying no against. And Jerry, is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Yeah. Okay, so we got 3 no's and 1 yes.
Mhm. Yep.
So how do you,
It does not pay, it, I don't know.
It goes-
The motion failed.
oh, failed?
Yep, motion
Yes.
failed.
Okay, failed.
Yep.
All right. Now, we can, I know Jerry, you said that you have to go.
Well, I'm gonna stay till 7:30.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So we can get as much done as we can.
Yep.
FAIL. Okay. So that takes care of that one.
Yep.
The next one is the electrical inspector.
Mhm.
Okay. Yep. Electrical inspector. What were we saying about this guy? Andrea, do you remember, or anybody?
I just told you, but I was on mute. I'm sorry. I think we thought that it was considerably higher and wondered if it was due to training or education or something like that.
Okay.
So you better find down Jim.
Jim.
Mm.
He's on mute. Oh, here he comes.
Hello,
Hello.
electrical inspector.
Yes.
Yep. And
The question is what?
For professional and technical, they went from 650 to 1150.
That was this year, the current year. And it's looking to stay status quo next year at 1150. It was
Well,
it was 650 in fiscal 20, which ended last June 30th.
Yeah.
The year that we're in currently, it's 1150, and the commissioner is proposing it to stay at 1150.
What was the big jump though for money wise? What?
The extra $500, I don't know. I could go back to last year's notes to try to find out what the jump was.
That's all right.
I'll make a note in the margin to find out tomorrow, and I can email you.
That's fine. It might be training or something like that too. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So can you hear me?
No, it just came back.
Okay.
Yep.
So if there's no more questions, I need a motion.
I move to table the electric inspector's budget until we receive information regarding the increase.
Yep.
I was just looking at the next line. Do we have same question on the other supplies and communication and that jump of 8? And I know it was approved at 10:30 last year. It was sitting in February at 324, so it doesn't seem that it's using it all, but it's you know, it's kind of, we need to, that it also be one of the, so the two
Yeah.
lines.
I was just going to say it's also that we are in a spending freeze.
Mhm.
So this budget was built, you'll recall, in February, March, April of last year. So pre-COVID
Right.
really hitting anything. So the expectation was that when this budget was set, that projects or initiatives that were planned were going to actually occur. Shortly after the budget was set, we put the brakes on everything and put a spending freeze in place. So again, it may be that it's looking like it's not all being used because we're not letting it be used.
Mhm.
Mm. And that's okay. We just need to know that.
Yeah.
So we'll just table this one. So moving on, we're gonna go to landfill.
I believe the problem there was that the landfill, I'm sorry. Was it landfill or trash pickup that appeared in two places?
Landfill was in the two places.
Yeah, one of them is landfill engineering, which is the actual old landfill, and the engineering work that we have to have done as a part of our post-closure permit with DEP. And then this budget is, it's really the recycling center, and the big number there that's in blue, the 715,500, is the curbside.
Okay. But I thought that the recycling at the recycling center was paid from their receipts. That was the agreement. It wasn't paid for from the tax dollars.
Yeah, you're gonna make me chase something down right now while you're saying that. So let me come back to that budget, go to revenue projections and check something here. So this sounds like so you got me my third strike. I'm out
Mhm.
because I'm drawing a blank right now on, I don't see in the revenue projection sheet that there's any income coming in from recycling receipts to support the budget. So I'll have to find out where this, what's it, 8 and 6, $14,400, I guess, is the total of those lines. And what specifically it's going for that's being supported by the operating budget.
Yeah, I thought that was self-supporting.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking it's tied to the closure of the old landfill more than to the recycling center. But I'm making a red mark on it and I'll have that answer for you tomorrow as well.
Okay,
All right, so
moving on.
In the past, it seems to me, although my memory is not all that accurate, I suppose, that the only landfill thing we had left now was landfill engineering,
Right.
as far as the town paid for. And I asked Carla about that, and she told me that the landfill will never be closed. I thought eventually it would be, but that's what she said.
What do you mean it will never be closed? I mean, it is closed. It's capped and closed.
Closed, but closed so that it becomes just land, so that we don't need landfill engineering. We don't need the checks
monitoring.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the monitoring was going to only last about 20 years, and we're about there, if not past there.
Sure.
all right, any more questions for landfill? All right, we're gonna table this one until Jim gets back to us. Everybody-
You need a motion.
No, do
Are
we
you
need-
good? I move to table this item. This is a landfill.
Yep,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye, Geraldine.
Andrea, aye.
John, aye.
Lynn, aye. Okay, moving on to the next one, we got cemetery and parks. And I thought, no, it's still on hold. According to my note.
One of the problems I had with this budget was there was a mention of Adams Dam in there as a project to be continued. And I talked to Jim regarding that today because Adams Dam isn't a park or anything. But apparently, Mr. Raposa applied and got a grant to do some things out there. And that's why it comes under cemetery and parks.
Yeah,
That's
if I can just
point.
chime in for a moment, Andrea. I don't
Sure.
believe, I don't believe they've received the grant yet. I know that
Oh.
the idea is to do a series of $5,000 grant requests over the next several years to do incremental work in stabilizing the bank over there where there's erosion and blocking some of the access to hooliganism that can occur down there. So I mean, it's a really lovely spot. If folks haven't been there before or haven't been in a while, it's really
Unless
beautiful.
the mosquitoes pick you up and carry you away.
And then that's good because then you don't have to exert yourself to get back to your car.
But the mosquitoes, yes, that's true. But the mosquitoes are good for trout and stuff. So in
Yeah.
a way, it does pay off.
So what they're talking about doing is Roger was just going to assist in placing some boulders and perhaps placing some timbers if the grant in fact is funded. So it wasn't something that he was absorbing under his department as much as he was offering to lend a hand if they did
But
get
he
that
can't
grant.
do that. He can't do that. He can't change the flow or access
no.
or anything to a waterway without
No,
conservation.
right. Not, let me be clear because I wasn't, not in the water.
On the
Talking about in the access way where people are able to freely drive in and get down right to the edge of the water, putting boulders in place well away from the water, but to block that access, to keep people from driving down in there and causing damage and erosion that is bad for the river. Having timbers in place that line the path. So when people are walking out there, there's a delineation of the actual pathway as opposed to people just scurrying about up and down the bankings. So it's all toward.
Yeah, exactly how much of that land do we own? I mean, I know we own the dam because of an electrical program before.
It's a pretty good piece. Let me find out. I can pull up the assessor's record on it.
Now, where are we talking?
If you go
down behind, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Behind the feed and seed store.
Feed and seed.
Where the trestle used to be, it's
Oh,
down
okay.
from where the trestle used to be.
Okay, now I know where it is. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. It is information. Looks like two acres on one side of the river and well, that says 6.8 acres on the other side, which doesn't look right when you look at the map, but so probably I'd have to look a little bit deeper at the registry records, but it looks to be about 6 to 10 acres.
And that's a portion how around Adams Dam?
Adams Dam is right in the middle of it. So it basically runs from just below the trestle, which is railroad property still, on both sides of the river. And then I can do a measurement pretty easily, I think.
But when the big acreage is on, as you would be facing it from trestle, it's on the left-hand side,
well,
or right-hand side.
Let me get funky here. I want to see if I can do something. Okay, that's me. Let's see if I can turn my camera around. Aha. So that blue parcel, if you look right where my cursor is up near this yellow line, that's the right there.
Hang on.
This is feed store. Right here. There's the dam right there. And this parcel that's highlighted is owned by the town, as is. I'm in a ruler still, so hold on, let me get out of ruler. I'm playing above my pay grade here, so I apologize. This parcel right there is the town, and this parcel here is the town. So both sides of the river, Adams Dam right there in the roughly in the middle.
Right.
So all of that is the town.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So right now, access that people use is coming in down to the parking lot of the Farmers Exchange to the left of the building and coming in. You can see a car right there, right where my cursor is. So people drive in and then they drive down this roadway and they get in down here and it opens up and there's a place that people have had campfires and other things. So the idea is to block off some of this area so people don't get to drive their cars down, and then eventually over the course of time, including working with conservation, improve the stability of the bank so there's less erosion.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I see fishermen down there.
Yep.
And the vandalism is tremendous. Last time I went, there were big pieces of burned material floating around in there. It was awful. But I guess I don't understand the erosion issue because the banks seem the same as they always have.
Well, there are
That's
quite
all.
a few. Yeah, there are quite a few trees down, probably about 50 yards, 75 yards down from the dam, where there's an indentation along the bank, and the trees are undermined considerably. I mean, they're almost entirely exposed root and kind of teetering. So I don't know if that's always been like
that could all well be. I don't go down too far past there, or I didn't. I don't go down there now at all, but
Yeah.
recently.
It's a beautiful spot. Beautiful
Thank
spot.
you. Yeah. Oh, it is. It is quiet too.
Yeah.
Mm.
When my daughter was in high school, my oldest daughter, they had a friend who was in her class who they used to sit up on the trestle and throw cans of beer into the Squattacook there, and he would retrieve them by his mouth, and everyone he retrieved he could keep and drink.
Oh, my God.
Just for a little past history.
I guess.
And I believe at one time, Bill May, when he was a kid, used to throw the cannonballs once a year off of there, and that's why in front of Memorial Hall they're all welded together now.
Oh,
They're bigger than they were too, but that's why they're all welded together. Stop that fooling around.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard of other people doing things like that too.
Yeah.
They were kids in a little town. That.
Yeah. And I just won't mention any names.
Oh, well, I heard the story from him, and I believe he had mentioned it at a crowd or in a book or something, so
Oh,
it's quite common knowledge, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so back to
back to
Back to cemetery.
Oh.
Park.
back to the boulders.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
period.
if you can share, Dawn.
Yeah. Okay, so we were still on cemetery and parks?
Yes.
Okay.
So does the rest of his budget look okay other than receiving the grant money? Does the rest of it look all right?
Well,
Well, now that it's explained for me, the grant in Adams Dam problem, because they're going to work with, I assume DEP and conservation, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I don't either.
Can you bring it up, Dawn?
Sorry. Which one do you want to?
I want to see the budget.
Cemetery and
Cemetery and parks.
Cemetery and Parks is here. I
Well,
have to sort of do it in pieces if we want to look at personnel, because it's longer. It gets longer. It goes off the screen. So I either shrink it or,
okay,
um,
because right now,
so the first down to line 651 is the personnel line. So no questions about,
well, I wanted to see it.
the detail behind with the people or the whole thing?
No, the budget.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I shared.
No, I see your name.
Okay. Here, that,
There we go.
yep, sorry.
That's all right. Okay. Wages, sport, temp, stipend, uniform.
So, and this is what I was talking about. There's more lines than fit on my screen.
That's all right. So, yeah, they have to do their energy and water
Mhm.
and
Doesn't look like much has changed.
just they took off the porta potties.
Yep.
So if you can scroll down,
Yeah, we'll get to the expense lines. Yep. Yeah.
remember? See down here on the bottom, it says other purchase services. It was $100.
There was $100 here on that line, and up here we had the 3525. I think that was the question, the total, and I think Jim updated it. I think this said 3525, and that had a,
Yeah,
so it's kind of
Jim?
like,
There you are.
Hello.
Yep.
Did this get changed on your updated budget for,
Let's check. Cemetery and park. So I have 3425.
Yep.
300, 500,
Yep.
1,000,
going there?
0,
Mhm.
25, 20, 46,
Yep.
100, 1100, 1100, 500, and 100 for 10,691.
Wait a minute. So did the top one, the energy get changed?
It was 3525 and he put in 3425. So it is as he placed it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so if nobody has any other discussions with this, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass the budget of parks and cemetery.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye, Geraldine.
Don, aye.
Andrea, hi.
Lynn, I. So that one passed. So we'll change that to a P. Okay, the next one is Housing Authority.
Okay. So the note we had on there was the travel. We had questions about the travel.
Yeah,
Well, I do know that they did go to a couple of seminars. I don't know if it was travel or,
No.
well, I'm just reading. We held the budget because of travel. So,
how much is travel?
oh, it's 200,
It's
Yeah.
what?
200. And then they have training also, which is 1,000.
Hmm.
Any questions about it? Andrea?
No,
Okay, then if we don't have any more discussions, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass the housing authority budget.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Gerald and I,
and Andrea, I.
John, I.
Lynn, I. All right, so that's that one. Who is P? P. Next one is Board of Health.
Right there.
One of the things I think in the Board of Health budget is trash pickup in there.
The trash pickup was in the landfill. Or are you saying, should it be in Board of Health?
No. It was expressed as a standalone item and as landfill, and Jim explained why it was that way. But I had thought it was also I thought it was in Board of Health. I just I can't see the screen because I'm on the phone.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, is the wage or salary correct?
So the FY22 is lower than 21.
Yep. Jim? We had a discrepancy with the wage of the Board of Health.
Okay, let me pull up the Collins Center spreadsheet and make sure we're good. So,
It went down.
Unexpectedly, yeah.
39. this slide. 4432, but that includes the longevity. So yes, that is a good catch. It should be the salary line should be 40424. Actually, say 425 because there's some cents.
Yeah, that's still lower.
Well, the amount that might have been being carried was an amount that was never actually negotiated to be given. So what the actual salary that the incumbent is receiving is the number that you see back in fiscal 19, the 39,913.
Okay.
So this one would be one of the ones in Collins that represents, squinting to see it, 2.65% increase.
Okay. So that answers that. And
Thank you for that.
No, you don't mean that. Your gap just got bigger.
Oh, that's okay. I'd rather find it now than have to chase it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So,
it's funny. It's funny. I've already got it in mind, so I'm good.
Okay.
I
must have caught it earlier because it's already mine.
Great. Okay, any more discussions on this one then? Well, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Board of Health budget as shown.
Second,
All in favor?
Cheryl and I.
Don, aye.
Andrea, aye.
When I. Okay, so that one, Board of Health pass.
How much more do we have?
I got 7:19 on the clock.
Okay, what's the
You-
next? I mean, as far as how much more, how many more budgets do we have?
Well, we have 2 on hold. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we haven't looked at.
Because I'm leaving in 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we'll get through this one and then we can discuss the rest and next week we can vote on it.
Okay,
So landfill.
The landfill engineering.
Yep.
Okay.
You guys still have 30,000 in that, and it's been reduced. Carla submitted a reduction to $19,999.
oh, wow.
So that's
Actually,
it.
I misspoke. It's 19,900. So you can take the 99 out of it. I was thinking marketing 101.
All right. So that's the only line item there.
Hmm.
So everybody okay with that?
We are. Just a question, Jim, if you know, is it going to stay at the lower rate or next year does it go back up?
No, it should be a 3-year run at the 19.9.
It's easy. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the landfill engineering budget.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Carol and I.
Don, I.
Andrea, aye.
Lynn, I. Okay, there's that one. And the next one is recreation.
Oh, boy.
Okay, we had that on for what hours?
The job description for the new, yeah, the request for a new support staff.
Jim,
Yes.
did, on recreation, they wanted a support staff. Did they submit a job description for that?
It is in process, just like the assistant director for the Council on Aging. Those two haven't made it through the process yet, but would need to in order to move forward at town meeting. So between now and town meeting, they'll be finished.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. At the selectmen's meeting, Veronica said that they had programs last year and haven't had programs since. But the reason that was given on why the staff had to be now funded through the budget rather than from their proceeds as they were before is because they made no money last year. How can you run programs and not make any money?
Well, I don't want to insert myself into Veronica's statement or her train of thought there. What I can tell you from my own perspective is that they did have programs. They were very limited programs, and that the money they took in was less than it took to run the program, which meant they ended up eating into the recreation receipts reserved account. And that's now at the point where it is not support the program. It becomes a question of, does the town want to fund this additional roughly $15,000 ask? Because the director's position has been funded for some years now. Does the town want to fund the $15,000 ask to keep the program going with the expectation that it will start to make money again once COVID is behind us? Or does the town not? And that's really, I guess, the simplest way to say it.
If we do the 15,000 this year, does that mean we're stuck with it for the next year too?
No, you're never stuck with anything. Well, except me. That was a joke.
I know.
You know, there are discretionary things in all of these budgets. And I don't think that the expectation is a given that it will be funded every year. I think it's just recognition of it's where we are right now and for good cause.
Right. I think, go ahead, Andrea.
I like your explanation better. It makes perfect sense about dipping into the accounts. But within my experience over time for the last 40 years, never when a position was in one place to be funded and moved to another did it go back. We will be stuck funding recreation associates for forever unless I would support this for 1 year. I will not. I just can't support it from now on.
I too would only support a year.
I think getting the support this year, regardless of how it needs to be characterized, is important. And if it gets revisited next year and they become flush enough to take it back out of the budget, then that's great. If not, it's a discussion point again next year. But I think given where they've come from over this last year, my hope is that you'd consider this.
Also remembering that they're elected officials and do not
Indeed.
have to, they can do whatever they wish.
Except print money.
Yes. Then it'd be a boon if they could do that.
Well, if we
I make,
can, it's for 1
oh,
year,
I'm sorry.
and 1 year only, I would do that, but I'm a little afraid myself, actually. But I would go for a year and then have to address it again, I guess.
Okay, so how would you say the motion? The motion, we accept it with a 1 year support?
1 year support, yes. I would make a motion to support this with for a 1 year, one time.
For the support staff. Because we're saying the
Yes,
rest, yeah, because the rest of the is okay.
I think the support staff, I agree, but we must make sure that it's not confused, because this shouldn't impinge on the director at all.
Correct.
Right, that's why I have it down as support for 1 year support staff,
Okay.
or support staff is for 1 year only.
Right.
Funding 1 year only, yeah.
Yeah, funding. Okay, so a motion?
The motion has been made.
Okay, who's gonna second it? Who did the motion?
I'll second that. Jerry Lynn.
I made the motion.
All right. All in favor?
Carol and I,
Andrea, aye.
Don, I,
Lynn, aye. Okay, so that passed with
okay.
that
Oh.
quote.
And as timekeeper, I've got 7:29 on the clock.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
This
Jerry.
ends our meeting except for talking. Now it has to become a work session because we no longer have a quorum.
Correct.
Okay.
But we have now gone through all the ones we had on hold. So we have 5.
Before you go on and explain that, adjourn the meeting. We don't have a quorum,
I know. So
but you have to adjourn the meeting now. It should have been adjourned before she left.
well, I just saw it, so okay. I make a motion to adjourn our regular meeting.
And
To adjourn, yeah, at
At-
7:30.
7:30.
seconded by Don.
Second by Don, yeah.
All right, now we're going into a work session.
Well, we needed there aren't all of us here, but we should still take a vote.
For
Andrea, aye.
Yeah,
Don, I,
Lynn, aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for keeping us honest, Andrea.
right,
Thank you.
Hey, Madam Chair, this is Jim. I have to set sail here. So is there any question of me before I go?
No, just the ones we had.
Okay, I've got them marked, so I'll get those taken care of tomorrow morning.
All righty.
Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Thank you, and thanks for coming to the meeting, Jim. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, then it's just us chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just, we have left accounting, tax collector, town council, the library, snow and ice will be on that, you know.
Yeah.
Lights. Did we pass street lights?
Was it part of DPW? Or is it separate?
Well, it is separate in the budget.
Right, but snow and ice is, don't we pay it as we pay it as a separate item because it's deficit spending. It's the only thing we're allowed to deficit spend in.
Okay. We just haven't gone through the motion.
I didn't. What? I've gotten confused again. I'm real sorry.
No,
I
think,
thought you were just.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we. I heard streetlights, but streetlights looks like it's part of the bigger total streets and highways. And snow plowing is.
It's under.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, but it sits by itself, see? On the budget.
Well, it's here as a separate section, but it's within the total highways. On line 625, we've got total streets and highways, and so this is just a subtotal within the streets and highways.
Oh, okay. And we already did that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
under the highway. Except
Well,
for,
and actually, we don't have any choice. It's spent. It's a bill that has to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Yeah.
All right, so then we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only have 5 left to do, and then the warrants.
Yeah.
So how do you want to proceed?
What are the 5 that are left?
Accounting, tax collector, town council, library.
I don't know. Those are pretty good. They're important. I don't remember what we questioned on the
No, these are the ones
accountant and treasurer.
we
Have
haven't
not gotten to it all. Oh,
we have not gone through these at all.
well then, unless you have something specifically you want to talk about, I think we should probably close the meeting then and address them when we have a quorum for the board. Because there are only, like you said, there are only 5 yet left, and there aren't all that many financial articles, and we should be able to handle that all at our next meeting.
Yeah, because I would like to get to the warrant.
Mm-hmm.
Article. So, but have you had a copy of them?
No.
So we probably should request that for next week.
Okay. If, you know, the selectmen, did they vote on the I believe they voted on the articles, or at least they talked about them last time. So he may already have it done and just not gotten around to sending it to us. Because, after the selectmen's meeting on Tuesday, they had 3 executive sessions. They and Jim, were there very, very late. Then he came to work and worked all day yesterday and today. I imagine it's easy for a little thing like sending off the article language to get through the cracks. Plus, on the articles, I think they usually meet with the moderator before those are put out, because different types of articles in different places where the money comes from causes different stands for the moderator to take, a different presentation that he has to make.
Mm.
He has to check out like if you took something from stabilization, it takes way better than a quorum, like 6/8 or something. It's huge. But something else just takes the simple majority to use that funding. So he usually explains that kind of stuff. So they go through the articles with him
Yeah.
before they're public.
Okay. So then for next time, for the budgets,
Yeah.
we just have the 4. The 5th one is snow and ice. We already know about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we only have 4 of those and the articles. And waiting on whatever Jim tells us on the 2 that we tabled.
So instead of putting down the specific number, I will just put article review or a budget review.
Yes, budget.
So in case something else comes up, we can address that.
Correct.
Okay.
Sounds good, just like you.
Are you there, Lynn?
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Before I go out again,
Yep.
let's close the meeting until next time.
We don't have to close the work session. Once we adjourn, this pitter patter is just pitter patter.
Okay, great.
Okay,
When do you want our next meeting is when?
I have it already scheduled for, what is this? Today is the 8th.
8th.
So I have one on the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. I've already scheduled them.
Okay. The 15th is the next one. And we're all set. I will get that together.
Okay,
Okay?